They were very well connected, this French side, a core of the squad that's been together since 2017 or a little later, as I mentioned, a 50th for Audrey Forlani in the second row. It's a really explosive and exciting back row. Aimee, the skipper, the dynamic Ménager, and Emmeline Gras at number 8. Bourdin is the halfback, one of the best going around. The first 5, Caroline Jouin, an Olympic silver medalist with the French Sevens team. Maëlle Philippon at centre scored a wonderful solo try in that famous win in Grenoble. Boujard and Banet are a very good, exciting duo at the back. Jessie Tremoulier, World Rugby Player of the Decade, coming off the bench. And for the Black Ferns, well, they've made fewer changes this week from what we have seen in the 2 tests against England. It's the same front row, but Maya Kawana-Golani-Roos gets her first start at lock. Dice Faliafunga returns from injury to start at blindside. And in the back line, also back from injury and making her first appearance of the tour is Kelly Brazier. She's got her 7 sisters outside her, Flula Woodman and Robbins Reti. Aisha Letzi-Ienga has been a real standout on the tour so far for New Zealand. And on the bench in jersey number 16, Georgia Ponsonby.
Is all good?
Yeah, all good, thanks.
Potential debut
good luck,
for
guys.
her. The referee is Amy Barrett. They're on.
Amy Barrett had quite a bit of experience with her. She's a great ref, really fair. And I just want to shout out the Demant family, Ruahe Demant leading the haka there with Carla. That's the first time she's done it, and she just made her family really, really proud. That was awesome.
The test is underway off the boot of Caroline Jouin. The Black Ferns against France. New Zealand looking to get a win on the board, and they've lost it early. Roos couldn't bring it in, so the defence will be tested straight away. Bourdin looking to work down a little short side for Banet. Ushered towards the sideline, but stays in well. Bourdin again, and the big forwards are going to carry early. New Zealand's forwards again going to have to muscle up. Ball out the back here for Philippon. A good read from Flula, but the offload is there. And Boujard is brought to ground by Woodman. Bourdin again, nice quick recycling from the French early on. Boulard, the fullback, up in the line. She's a real talent as well. Sosha, the hooker. Working on the 22, New Zealand trying to muscle their way in, and it's slow ball here for the French as Lindelof clears away, and the eye is hammered in the tackle. Good defence early from New Zealand. Michele Tu'u getting another start today at number 8 for New Zealand. Phase play building from the French though early on. Ménager roaming in midfield. Tackle needs to be made. She bumped off Roos, but Letzi-Ienga and Brazier are able to bring down that dynamic flanker. Here's Jouin with a little bit of room and some speed. Brings Banet back into the fray. Long early opening passage of play here from the French as the runners line up. Ripped away by Love. Well done from Pip Love, and that allows Coxedge to just bang this ball away downfield. The bounce isn't kind for New Zealand though, and Coxedge will have to make the tackle. Claims that she was a little bit blocked by Aimee, but made the tackle anyway, Coxedge, so France will reset again. Bourdin for Jouin. Again, just a little misunderstanding from the French, and Vernier had to go back and tidy up, so they've lost a few metres here. Little chip kick ahead. Boujard will chase. The bounce is not good for Woodman. In fact, it's going to beat them all and go out into touch in nearly 2 minutes opening passage of play. New Zealand absorbed some early pressure, Ruby.
Wow, that was awesome. We just have a look here. We knew the kick pass was going to come. The French are absolutely famous for it. Drawing there was the one. But what about that defence, Vance? It was just constant. I think it was Pip Love in the end that ended up getting that territory back. Awesome first opening for that defence.
Yeah, massive start for both teams, but particularly the Black Ferns. I'm really impressed with that loose trio. You can see them, they're all really pumping up, going forward. They've got to continue that for the rest of this half.
Line-out was much improved in Test 2 against England than it was in Test 1. Grace Hope-Upper-Barrett starts again. Roos is the target, and she finds her nicely. The 20-year-old in her second match dishes away for now Demant, and then roaming in midfield is Michele Tu'u. So nice attacking ball here for New Zealand to work with. Demant is at the feet of Shea Robbins-Reti, but Letzi-Ienga does really well to pick it up. There's a good wrestle on the ground for this. And Coxedge is able to clear away. Demand for Roos in midfield, and she's got a good offload on her. Oh, don't know she needed a force at that time, though. Love can't handle, and France look to counter. May, the captain, goes forward. Demand brings her down. Bourdon looking for her runners. Comes in the form of Bouchard, the winger, getting involved. Bourdon's gone to ground. I think she was taken out, but no one really around her.
On the body, not the ball.
France swinging back onto attack. Hope Upper Barrett's ripped this away for New Zealand. Again, it's good work at the breakdown from the Black Ferns forwards. And Coxedge pumps this long. The chase from Woodman as it bounces out into touch. Wants to think about going Bouchard, but again, good work at the breakdown.
Yeah, if we look here, this is where it turned over in the end. Pip Love just getting taken. That offload wasn't quite the option, but this is awesome from the Black Ferns because Bouchard's getting frustrated. The woman on your screen, she's an amazing attacker, but we're just stunting their attack, killing that momentum that they so badly want. They showed us. And what about this turnover? Hope Upper Barrett, how awesome has she been?
She's had a great start to the game last weekend, and now you can see the momentum shift here. I love the line speed of our defence that the Black Ferns are really bringing up, putting on the pressure.
So Shah to throw. She goes down the back for May. It's there, Joanne. And again, they're stationing Ménager right in midfield, and she's a menace, Romain Ménager. Bourdon digs it out. Joanne across for Philippon or Letty Yinger. Made a good spot hit, and it's forced the error. Oh, they say, I was going to say the call came late. Benet lost it on the ground. Pressure's good.
Oh, I was calling for it. So the Black Ferns, I'm sure. Oh, Ménager, how amazing is this athlete? Unlucky in the 2017 World Cup not to make that semi through injury, and I think this World Cup's going to be her year, absolutely. Look at these mistakes are creeping in for the French fans. It's not like them.
Absolutely, but you know, you've got to give credit to the girls. That's Letty Inga just really flying up, putting pressure on there. We saw Hope Upper Barrett just really up in their faces and getting on top of the ball where we need to.
French are renowned for offloads as well, so pressure like that is really gonna kill the French.
The opening 5 minutes have been played at quite a clip. Not going to get that in. First scrum of the match.
Stability, please.
Same front row for New Zealand. Love, Hope Upper Barrett and Nelson, who have started the 2 tests against England as well.
Yeah, Grace Upper Barrett, she's been really awesome. She's really injected herself into the side. What super team is she going to play?
Here we go. This could be a long couple of weeks.
Coach! Bind! Set!
Coxedge to feed the scrum. Had some issues at set piece, but that's a good one for New Zealand. And here's Letty Yinger, as she has popped up at first receiver, charging in off her wing. Front foot ball for Coxedge, and finding Roos in a little bit of open space. Maya Roos. Benet has gotten over this ball, tried to rip it away from the New Zealand lock, but she lays it on the 22. Demand swings it across for Flula. Flula looking to get into the action, gets rid of one, finds Robbins Retty, who's got Woodman outside her. Woodman on Bouchard, bumps her off, goes again, and finally they wrap up Woodman. New Zealand pressing, looking for the first points of the test. Demand just got caught a little bit in two minds, had to go into the line, but her forwards are there to support as Coxedge clears for Jonah Nunwu. And a penalty for New Zealand. It's a good bust up the middle. Trying to just build some pressure. I think Coxedge is going to look for post, get some points on the board, which what they haven't done the last couple of weeks.
Oh no, what about this woman right here, Letty Yinger? They're letting her in that first receiver position. And all the last 2 weeks, she's beating the first defender every time. What I love is the march. She's letting that ball go, Vaughn. She's giving it to that. Look at that. Why would you not give it to that woman?
Well, absolutely. Like the back line is outstanding. But what was really clever about that play is it's just a simple go forward. You're getting the ball to Letty Yinger straight off the scrum. That's easy meters that they're eating up. Now they've just got to pick up the reward for all their good work. I love that Coxedge actually looked up and actually found Maya Kaulani Roos there in the open space. Really good momentum shift for the Black Ferns.
They haven't started well in the 2 tests against England. Found themselves behind the 8 ball early in both matches. So this will be the first time on tour. If Coxedge can convert, which she does, that New Zealand go ahead in the match. So Early points for New Zealand. The little general adds 3 to the tally. New Zealand on the board, 3 points to 0.
Yeah, what a start. Really positive, and it wasn't easy. They had to defend for, you know, a few phases in a row, so to get the points like that, really, really smart.
Joanne, and it's Roos again who's underneath this, attacking the ball. French getting up and knocking it back, and it'll land once more for France. Bourdon just tries to roll a little kick over the top. It was charged down by Michele too and landed for Venet. Joanne. Again, Menaget. Bourdon again tries to kick it over the top once more, finds some open space. Robbins Reti tracking across, and it's just batted back from Letzianga, and Benet had got in there and messed up. Just a little miscommunication between winger and fullback. They might get this back though, New Zealand. In fact, it's a penalty to France. They put themselves under the pump here. Just a mix-up between Robbins Reti and Letzianga.
Well, 3 guesses how the French are going to attack our back 3, and it's definitely through the boot. Gee, the Black Ferns were very lucky. Burnett there. The bounce didn't go the French way before, but this time it almost very nearly did.
Look, this could be costly, and we know that in the Six Nations competition, France were very good when it came to their set pieces. So will we see a rolling maul here?
So Sharp goes to Emay, and they will be on the captain, Gail Emay, that they will set this maul, trying to drive New Zealand. Have got in and got quite well organised. Now, though, France getting some good go forward, good momentum. New Zealand need to hold firm. France pressing and pressing and pressing, and it just stops at the last moment when it looked like they were going to get a roll on. Bourdon just looking for some protection. And Venet, who sets to run with Emay in support. New Zealand having to defend their line. Going back to short side, numbers wide. And Cyril Benet will score for France. They punish the error made by New Zealand, and France get the first try through their winger, Benet.
Well, the French have been watching the last 2 weeks. They've been going with their set piece. Why would you not have a crack at a rolling maul against the Black Ferns at the moment? They hung in there, the Black Ferns. They did all they could, really, really holding on. But in the end, they closed their eyes for 1 second, Vaz.
Yeah, look, they just got caught very short there on the blind side there. Now they know what they're going to do. They're just going to have to really chin up in the next one.
All fine from
really smart play there. They obviously sucked in all the Black Ferns defenders. They thought they were going to go open, but no. Benet had other ideas. So not only is a set piece, they've studied that, but it's the switchback play as well that caught our girls napping pretty onto it.
Caroline Jouin, part of France's Olympic silver medal winning team. She's a core cog in both their 7s and 15 side. She strikes that really nicely, lovely fluid kicking motion. So France respond to New Zealand's early penalty with the converted try, 7-3.
Beautiful, and Bourdon there, she looked up. She's the one who did the 2 box kicks in a row and gave that pass. Absolute general, leading that pack around from that halfback position.
Robbins Reti gets us underway, back underway. Oh, straight through the bread basket. And Hope Upper Barrett swoops on it for New Zealand. Error made. Might have been Menaget. Letzianga, who is again looking lively and busy as she has all to it. Cox edge for Hope Upper Barrett. Up over the 22 and advantage for New Zealand.
Good turnover. Good turnover. 1 France offside.
Lindenloof it was. Just in her second test, the young loose-head prop, 20 years of age. And again, Cox edge goes to the posts.
Yeah, just interesting to see that kickoff. When they're kicking off, you could see that both wingers are actually up front trying to actually put the pressure on, chase that, and leaving that line of defence there. So good pressure there from Woodman and Letzianga. I mean, they're your powerhouses, right? You want to get the ball into their hands as early as possible.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I have to sympathise with Menaget. She Roberts Reti's kicks are so high, and they are in the air for an absolute age. The pressure when it's coming down, you know, I've got to catch them at training. It's horrible, to be honest. But that's why she's kicking off, to get the wingers in the action. Pinpoint accuracy as well. And I'm really loving this decision, ladies, to take 3 points.
Kendra Coxedge, her 56th test, adds 3 more. So New Zealand, just the one behind now, 7 points to 6. The bench and the reserves watch on, and as always, some good Kiwi supporters in the crowd.
That's awesome. Like I already mentioned, the crowds at these autumn internationals for the Northern Hemisphere have been outstanding. So good to see the support.
Joanne is shallow again, and again it's Roos, and this time she brings it down. Nicely done by Maia Kawanakaulani Roos. And Love sets to charge. It's just much more precise from New Zealand so far. Here's Elder, who has made a lot of tackles. That ball just spat out, but back on New Zealand's side. Nganwu, France shooting up in defence, so Demand will kick high. No real pressure on Joanne, though, and she brings it down nicely, but now there's pressure. It was a brilliant read by Flula, and that's allowed Brazier to swarm in, as well as Faliafunga. France have done well to protect that ball and win it back. Philippon is a player down in back play for New Zealand, looking to get the arms free. Maëlle Philippon does so for Joanne, and then the little sleight of hand, Menage down the sideline, and she's hustled into it. Get the ball in play somehow for Bourdon. France swinging on to attack, and the offload sticking. Now Gua. Vernier looking to kick ahead. There's open spaces if the ball stays in for Benet. Brazier coming across is not going to get there. Brilliantly summed up by Gabrielle Vernet. And again, it's Cyrielle Benet who finishes off for France.
Hey, look, that kick pass was outstanding, don't get me wrong, and Benet, she's a threat all day, but if you're scratching your head at home, so am I. There's definitely a couple I would like to see again on the replay. Not that we have too much control from back here, but we see here, Portia Woodman jockers him to the side nicely, links up Robbins Reti. Pop pass here seems fine, but it's this one here that got me confused. Menage, was the foot out and was there a knock on?
Look, I absolutely agree with you, Ruby. I was here looking like, I'm pretty sure that ball was out. But look at that skill from the French, sorry. We knew the French do this all the time, the kick pass. They've done it earlier in the game, and it does really expose our outside three, but it's a pity that we couldn't go back to that play, huh?
Yeah, very interesting. And I think what did add to the madness, well, there was a player down from the Black Ferns. I assume it was Flula, which would be just catastrophic, but that outside back, or that outside centre, sorry, going down, just acres of space out there as well.
Joanne this time just pushes it across the face, can't add the extras. So again, France respond with a second try to Cyrielle Benet. And France go ahead 12 points to 6. Here it is again.
Yeah, there's definitely a knock on, a foot out for me, but at the end of the day, you know, you have to play on, you have to play to the referee. Just look here. There's some white chalk, there's some white grass getting touched there by a pink boot, but hey, who am I? I'm not the ref, I'm not in charge.
So we'll just check as Reti gets us back underway. This time it's shallow, and again it's high, and Vernet attacks the ball, but it lands once more. I think everyone's still in the line for New Zealand. Whoever the player down was, may even have been Faliafunga. But she's certainly back up as Roos brings us down on the 22. Coxie just hassled at the base of the ruck. It does well to get it away for Haupapa Barrett. Demand, a little step. Michele Tu'u made the run, but didn't get the ball. So Coxedge are just going to work a little short side here. Letzi Inga, not a lot of room to move, and from a standing start. New Zealand reset the line. Nganwu for Michele Tu'u. Just trying to muscle their way through the French defence at the moment. Must have been a small knock-on on the ground.
You can see what the Black Ferns are doing here. They're trying to get that tip off, that extra player to get the extra gain, but it's just, look, that Liana Michele Tu'u there, unfortunately just lost the ball. What I'm really liking about this Black Ferns team is they're getting up in the air. Maia Kawanakaulani Roos is having a great start. her first start for the Black Ferns, but I've been really impressed with Daisle Faleafanga, Mikaele Tu'u, that are getting right in there, the rumble that we've needed right from the get-go.
You can't go the jungle without a bit of rumble, Evans. You've got to get in there, have that mungle, so it's absolutely sicky to see. I will say though, in those, when we are on attack, those rucks, we need to clean them up a bit. Kendra needs, you know, she can't get caught up having to clear out herself or getting attacked. We really need to clean those rucks up so she can just get that pull out to our backs and our firepower, you know.
Back. Hold your weight. Okay.
It's one of the things from the previous test against England, their ruck time or at the breakdown being really effective makes a huge difference for your halfback.
I'm sure Miss Coxedge would let them know too, Evans, at training.
Oh, yeah.
Bind.
Pauline Bourdain and Kendra Coxedge have gone at each other once or twice in international rugby, the two halfbacks, as New Zealand put a shove on, but it's going to be a penalty to France. As it screwed around.
Oh, this was standard play in the Six Nations final against England for France. They would just about every scrum that was really important, the French would turn it into a penalty for themselves. So they've done it to our girls. You'd have to take note of that, the forward pack, because they'll do it all day if you don't clean it up. The call was screwing here. They looked like they started on an angle at the beginning. It was just part of their plan. Set pieces, you've already mentioned, Barnes, they love it.
You were good in that one. Just take your tight head with you.
It's a really good kick for touch too from Joanne Sens. France 10 metres into New Zealand territory again is Sosha to throw again. And down the back they go for M.A. Roos. Was able to just get in there and knock it away. And allowing Mikaele Tu'u and Love to try and get in over this ball. But France have again protected it well. They've hustled back quickly, as you would expect. Nice quick recycling again that allows them Vernier to try and weave her way through and then runs headlong into Nelson. Might have just crept up a little high. I think the initial shot was good. Came back on the angle, Gabrielle Vernier, and runs straight into a tight head prop, and a tall one at that.
Yeah, it was a nice little use of footwork, but Alicia Pearl-Nelson said, hey, do you need a massage of your trap? Because I'm going to bend it backwards and see how it feels.
Let's march France down even further, though, and they'll get a chance to launch here. 20 minutes gone, France 12, 2 tries to Cyrielle Banet, New Zealand 6, 2 penalties to Kendra Coxedge.
There's been a massive difference in that backline defence. You can see that they're shooting up almost like a banana umbrella sort of defence, but they are putting the pressure into, they're forcing the French to go back on the inside. And on that particular occasion, Alicia Pearl-Nelson was welcome.
So Shah to the middle this time, and it's a quick transfer away for Emmeline Gros. And a penalty. Well, for New Zealand, had another go. Oh, good let off for the Black Ferns here, and a chance just to send it back down to the French half.
That was a really smart play. I think it was Liz Elder, the tackler there. Earlier in the piece, we saw a French player keep rolling, go through, but if the tackler holds on, you must release that ball before you continue your momentum forward, and the French player did not do so. Yes, we have another look here. It was a sneaky play from the back for Gross. Here, Liz Elder, oh sorry, it was Maya Roos, and Liz Elder completed it for her, so good play. And last week, discipline was not the Black Ferns' friend, so this is important that the girls get it right with this ref.
Papa Barrett down the back through the hands and the bounces, or as Brave from Demant really attacked it as Sosha came at her. Good charge here from Love, and nice and quick for Coxedge. Brazier, haven't seen a lot of Kelly Brazier yet, but she will get into the thick of things, you know. Flulet on the 10-metre line. Coxedge for Nelson. And again, we'll just roll a little kick over the top. It's gone back in midfield, though, and Boulard, the fullback, is able to clean it up easily. Here's Banet. We've already seen plenty of her again. Or runs, heavy contact into Mikaele Tu'u. May goes again. New Zealand trying to get in over this. That is wonderful work by Aisha Letienga over the breakdown, but the chop tackles coming in from New Zealand, making it possible.
Yeah, absolutely. But just that reaction. We've seen the backs of the Black Ferns do that a couple of times. You cannot get isolated around them because they will be all over that ball like a bee to a sunflower in summer. If we have a look here, Burnett is really injecting herself into this game. Electric. As we just have a look here at that final tackle, who it was. Huge contact there. Oh, of course it was. It was Lisiado, wasn't it? That made that chop tackle absolutely excellent.
Stay 9.
This time more, New Zealand goes short and just confused the piece a little bit as their mate is ragdolled towards the sideline. Did well to keep it in play and was helped up by Ferrer. Druan slams it off down to Aisha Letienga, who's got Robbins-Letty and Woodman. Woodman, is she going to take on the line? Philippon one way, then the other. Gets rid of Vernay and through a couple and the offload as well. Good support from Michaeli Tu'u as Woodman gets involved and they try and clean and the French give away a penalty.
Okay.
So it's been a good passage of play for New Zealand despite the line-out wobble.
Despite the agreement with the crowd too. But Portia Woodman, she's just having a bit of fun out there. Sounds like she would be doing at training as well, just to a couple of us. It's awesome to see though, isn't it? Just her playing her heart out, having heaps and heaps of fun as we have a look here. And to get that offload off too, you know, to Michaeli Tu'u, that's not easy.
No, but she looks like she's having a lot of fun out there, old Portia Woodman. We just need to get a lot more ball to her. The thing, I just saw a stat that came up, 33% of possession. We need to hold on to that ball a lot longer.
Papa Barrett, it's again Roos is the target. That wasn't straight though, so that's 2 in a row where the line out has again faltered for the Black Ferns, and it will give France more possession.
Look, there is a little bit of confusion in the lineup beforehand. There was confusion there on whether, and now again we're seeing this, they really need to nail this. We know that our set pieces are really important, but it is something that Grace Papa Barrett has brought to the table.
Well, of course, if you get your first vaccination today and your second one in 3 weeks' time, by the 18th of December, you'll be boom ready to go for summer, all protected. You get to book my vaccine or find your local vaccination centre. Here go France away through Juan. Nowhere really to go. She's done well though, Caroline Juan. As Roos is going to struggle to get out of there and does give away the penalty.
Look, I just want to acknowledge Maya Kawana-Kaulani-Rees. She is in everything. You know, that's exactly what you want in your type 5 and your pairing of the locks. All the grunt work, all the work that you probably don't want to do. She's in it. She's in amongst it, and I'm really impressed. This youngster from Auckland, Tamaki, she's been really impressive.
Absolutely, and let's be honest, you know, since the 2017 World Cup, Charmaine Smith, Eloise Blackwell, there's been, we need people to step up and fill those shoes, and I think, you know, she's young, she's full of energy, she's doing an amazing job, and as much as I had to, you know, admit it with an Aucklander, she's doing an amazing job for us.
Amazing.
Love her at the Chiefs Bowl, good.
Not even from there. As we go down the back, and it's knocked away for Nan Wu. And that'll allow Coxedge to get it away. Oh, it's messy though. And it's fallen on the French side again, and they're once again looking to counter through Gros, Vernay and Philippon into the line. They've got Boulard, this exciting young fullback. Oh, she's coming into some heavy contact again.
Just short of horizontal.
I would agree with you from the angles I've seen.
Play on is the call.
Maybe for the second one.
A high tackle, and they may have another look at it, but we'll play on for now. Bourdon. And now big contact. The eye is driven back by Love. France again off the back of a New Zealand era, looking to threaten. Gros. Bourdon. And Ermay, the skipper. Keeping it tight at the moment is France, and now they look out the back for Joanne, trying to create some space. Woodman has rushed up. Robbins he's going to have to come across and make the tackle on Boujard, chopping back in field, busting through 1, 2, 3, 4, almost to the line. Caroline Boujard stopped just in the nick of time by Roos. And now New Zealand pile in. Bourdon looking for a little seam and a little crack in the New Zealand defence. Joanne is stopped by Faliafunga in a must-made tackle. Crowd roaring on. The French woman is there for Growitt. Spat out the back again, and again Faliafunga on the line. Working in tandem with Woodman as France look for their third try of the match. Ferrer is there, is she towards the line, try given. They pressed and France. New Zealand hung tough for a while, but in the end the crack came, and the crowd and Pau on their feet as France get their third try.
Yeah, I'll try and look at the replays now, mate.
That was some footy. Woodman tried to shut it down, but this run from Boujard, absolutely magnificent run, driving the legs, and of course Roos is there to take her down. But in the end it was the forwards that drove him right over Vaz.
Yeah, look, absolutely. When you're out there on the backs and you're going to fly up like that, you still need to make. And I don't know whether that was grounded or whether there was a little knock on there.
And I think Caroline Joanne is going to be stopped here, and they're going to have another look.
Just in the nick of time, perhaps, unlike the try we saw before. So
because when I came round there, the ball grounded. But can you check for a potential knock-on?
Yeah, here's the angle now.
So we have a look here. It's Ferrer, I think, under there. Absolutely knock on. Has to be.
Oh, clear separation there.
Just in the nick of time. This is excellent refereeing. This is what we need to see.
No, the advantage was over, wasn't it?
The advantage was over.
Yeah.
Quick to the point.
The advantage was over. No try. No.
Is it possible just to be careful on the rest because there is a lot of neck roll?
Okay, we'll check.
May is saying neck rolling in the ruck.
Okay.
I think she's just looking for
try.
something. So the advantage was over
Apologies
from
on the rush there, Amy.
that here on the corner, and this is the one they were looking at.
Okay.
Whether that tackle
still off. We just got an HIA check on the wing.
was over the horizontal. Now there's an HIA, so there's a bit going on. 12-6, that try rubbed out. There was a good spot, and it's Boujard who's going off the field for the head injury assessment.
She had an excellent run. And I mean, they've got Tré Mollier on their bench, an outstanding player to bring on as well. But big moment in the game.
I mean, she basically sliced through 4 players, you know, like if you're going to, with that back line, particularly the Black Ferns, they're going to push up. You've got to make those tackles. You can't give the French any time.
Yeah, just can't get over this crowd. They're amazing.
Yes, you can send her.
Giving their players so much aroha, so much love. And the scrum before this one, the Black Ferns were outstanding. Completely drove over the French, which is not very common to see.
So it's Chloe Jacquet who's going to come on for France. Jacquet, excuse me, another of the Sevens team, Olympic silver medalist. She really has burst onto the scene this year and was quite outstanding at the Tokyo Games. 19-year-old, just her second test, made her debut last week when France had a good win over South Africa. Big scrum here for New Zealand, hard against their own line. They've had a let off. And Coxie just wants to get this in and out as France get away on New Zealand, get a penalty.
You can tell it's going to be there's going to be a lot of conversations in that scrum between two front rows all day at the office because it's going back and forth.
They've been on the defence for a long time. You know, that's a long period of time for the Black Ferns to be on defence. They really need to get possession of the ball, get some and play down the other end of the field once they do that, because it's only a matter of time, you know, before they start. The French will actually attack those holes that are creeping up.
Absolutely, and the errors with those couple of tackles, too risky discipline-wise, so absolutely agree.
Last 2 lineouts haven't worked for New Zealand. That one better, much simpler for Nanwu at the front. And they've got Good movement
She's through the middle.
from the line at all. It's just popped out. It was a little bit loose in the carry, and that allows France to turn it around. Flula had to come up, and then once again, Stacey Flula, defence in midfield has been magnificent. It's just done enough to force the error for New Zealand, but you can see how quickly every time France look to turn New Zealand's turnovers and attack again.
Just trying to see what front row this was. That was unreal to climb right through the middle to Shay's, I think it was, and legally turn them all over like that. That's pretty incredible stuff. And the Black Ferns have to watch that in their mauls.
Okay. And stay up. A double knock on. Knock on. She lost it in the maul.
So there'll still be French feet to the scrum from the knock on in the maul. Zelda laying down the law. That was to Lou Ruahei-Demant, who's outside it. Bourdon feeds the scrum. It's a nice steady platform for France, and Grow off the back for her half-back again. She's got Vernet, the runner, just tipped up by Demant. Brazier in there for New Zealand as well. Flula calling a defence across. Juan, Philippon, and Boulard. Here's Jacquet. Jacquet into the action. Up towards the 22, taken in the tackle by Elitienga. Here's Ferrer. Crashes forward. Bourdon for Juan, who's distributing nicely. There's Di, who made a mess of that New Zealand maul earlier to give them possession back. Juan again, nice and steady. Vernet no way through New Zealand at the moment, though, and just losing the ball in contact was Gabrielle Vernet. There wasn't much doing for the French, and the error came. So just a couple of mistakes creeping in late in the half.
Yeah, she tried to do that footwork again, Vernier. But I like this D from the Black Ferns too. Ones, it's patience. They're showing maturity in their game. 32nd minute, the half's almost over. Nice and patient, only going for the rucks when they really want to. That's awesome to see.
It's an absolutely different team, or a different side that we've seen in the previous test matches, that's for sure. And a lot of that has to do with their defensive systems, which you can see has absolutely changed. I love, I can see Pip Love, she's sucking in the big ones, but she's still in the game.
Feels like there's less panic. They were so under the pump against England that the panic set in. It was such an unfamiliar feeling. They're right in this at the moment now, New Zealand, but they want to play the game at the other end of the park. A little chip kick ahead for Woodman, and the bounce is going to be ugly for Jacquet, who must have got a touch on it, tried to keep it in play. And, everyone's pointing one way. The assistant referee points the other, and it'll be a French throw to the line out.
Just wonder there for me with Kendra Cox's kicks, I think we need to get them a little bit further down, and that one in particular, that did hit grass, which is awesome. It caused a bit of confusion in the French, but they need to really make sure that we're getting territory.
So sharp throws for Ferrer. France's line out working nicely. Juan shaped to kick instead with the offload, and the carry was loose from Ménager, and Demant was able to get onto it quickly and find Alicia Pearl-Nelson on her outside shoulder. That's messy again for New Zealand as well, and once again Demant has to tidy up. But New Zealand again cocks edge, and she's found some open space as it tracks towards the sideline. It just stays in field. Jacquet under pressure, gets rid of one, and now sets off Chloe Jacquet. As I said, she's an exciting talent. The French crowd didn't like the tackle. They're roaring them on, putting pressure on. And there's bodies everywhere as France try and work it out of their own 22. Bourdon will go back for Juan, who likes to clear away and sends a raking kick, although doesn't get a whole lot of distance this time. But take the pressure off for now anyway.
As we see here, a weird, uncharacteristic few drops by Ménager, but how good was this footwork? Only just kept it in. Jacquet's boom. 1-2 down the side. If she didn't do that, the French would have been under so much more pressure. That extra 10 metres in the red zone is so hard to get out of, as Alicia Pearl-Nelson's just taken a little bit of hot rub.
Come on, when you're ready.
Well, as I say, Chloe Jacquet really did burst onto the scene for France in the Olympic qualifiers to get to Tokyo. They had to play an extra game an extra tournament, and then of course obviously did so well.
This is good.
Yeah, Dice Faliafanga had a wee grin on her face because she does that to other people. So also, désolé, apologies if we get any of these French names wrong. We're absolutely trying our best with these beautiful names. But that footwork was pretty incredible.
Allez les Bleus rings around the Stade d'Amo in Po. Great crowd. And they are well up for it too, as have been both of these sides so far today. Papa Barrett to throw for New Zealand.
France, you are closing the gap. Yeah.
French extra keen there, listening to their supporters, closing that gap too much.
It's to Ruth, they go again. It's not straight, that one down the back is not working for New Zealand.
Scrum or line out?
They hand it back to France again.
Scrum. Scrum throws in.
Unfortunate
5
because the Black Ferns have made improvements in their line out, so it will be frustrating. I can't tell if there's too much wind down there or if it's communication based, but the girls have been working really hard. We know they have. We've all been talking to them, and to the media liaisons have been working really hard at their set piece, so Grace Barrett, that won't be up to her standards for sure.
You can see the disappointment on her face, you know, that what she needs to do with 5 minutes to go into this half is shake it off and really come into another level here.
Set.
France's scrum has been pretty rock solid. Almost went down on the far side. I think a little shove on here. There's been a couple of scrum penalties in this match. Bourdon trying to get another one, I think. She's looking at the referee. Won't clear it yet, the halfback, and she hasn't got the call her way. And now the advantage just came as Bourdon shoots down the short side, wrapped up by her opposite Cox edge, gets the offload away for Boulard. Through the hands they go, knocked down and play on for France. So Sharp, the hooker, goes one way, then the other, and all of a sudden they've gone 40-odd metres downfield. Drouin again, crossfield kick for Benet, lots of room wide, just put her foot in touch though, but boy, it was dangerous. Gee, they left her wide open again, Cyrielle Benet. She's already got 2. That time just put the size 9 in touch.
Oh, the game can be cruel. She caught advantage over here just before her right pinky toe touched the white grass. Oh, how the rules can be cruel, but as she just says again, Amy Barrett, the advantage was over, but that was beautiful play from the French. Those kick passes are just absolutely delicious.
This time the front option again, Nan Wu. That's the one that's working for the New Zealand line out. Cox edge. Demanta's got Michele Su'u.
It's your own player.
It's just come out there for Cox edge now, Nelson. And the forwards just lining up, and again Cox edge will kick ahead. This time finds a little bit more open spaces, but it's easily covered by Jacquet, who sends a raking punt downfield back to Cox edge inside her own 22.
Outside.
Surveys the options and puts it up, and it's gone down just as far as Benet on her own side of halfway. France may look to open up again here. Juan for the pont. And Vernet, and that's gone forward. Oh, that's a real
Number 5,
soft mistake from France, but the penalty against New Zealand
What's in the 10?
goes against Ruth, I think it was, inside the 10.
You know, I do question our kicking ability at the moment. We're really just giving and handing the ball over to them when we're putting the ball in the air.
Number 5. There were 2 players here.
It either has to find space, so it makes them work harder and puts them under pressure, gives us time to get on defence and put that pressure on. Otherwise, you know, you're just turning the ball over and giving it to them on a silver platter.
And especially, I mean, even Jacquet stepped up, but those back 3, they're pretty dangerous. We have a look at the numbers too, outside on the left here for those forwards. The French get another line out in a very handy position.
Stay there, New Zealand.
Just 90 seconds or so away from half-time. New Zealand will want to hold them out here. Here's Romain Ménochet, brings the ball down, and France will set the maul. Nanwu, she was told no. One of her teammates yelled no, Jonah. She still put a hand on it. So France playing under advantage here. Bourdon tries to chip a little kick through. They'll go back for the penalty though. Interesting to see what the option is here for France with a minute or so to go before the half.
I like Elder Lee's just getting clarity there. You need to really understand the ref with these calls. And I just love Bourdon, the little general halfback, staring at the ref. Are you kidding me, mate? Give me that penalty. She's done it at the scrum and she just did it at the maul as well.
Well, look at the French, backing their play here. They're going for the line out, not going for the points. But why wouldn't you when you've got a pack like that? They've scored off it earlier on. They're going to go again. And we can see Jonah Nganwu.
Stay sharp in the front there.
Which the penalty was stemmed from that position right there.
And 3 guesses what we'll do here, what the French will do.
Now Joanne has driven them to a line out 5 metres out from the New Zealand line, just about half time. Down to the back they go. It's Irma, the captain. They had 1 disallowed from the drive. It's just splintered away. Nganwu trying to get in for New Zealand. Almost got hands on it. Well, did in fact, but France able, as Bourdon just directs her forwards where she wants them. Fulani in her 50th. No going forward there, but it's ripped away by Lindelof.
Still got advantage, Black.
Advantage being played still for France. New Zealand having to defend their line. Right on half-time. France got a second shove on there. Bourdon. Irma not going through. Nelson. New Zealand well organised at the moment, but it's patient from the French. Now they go out the back. Joanne, big cutout ball. Philippon, Robbins ready. She's got a 2-on-1. Jacquet to the line. New Zealand's defence caught out wide, and France do get their third right on the stroke of half-time. It is Chloe Jacquet in her second test and her first test try.
Hey, French took the risk, went for the corner, and it absolutely paid off. We knew they were going to the maul. They tried the forwards their absolute hardest, as we see here. They even got the penalty advantage. In the end, they sucked everybody in here, and then the backs had a turn, and it was real hard. Yaka Robbins had 2 on her pusher, couldn't get across in time, so Woodman let Jackie through.
Yeah,
just out here with the outside backs. I think Robbins Ritzi, was really just waiting for that inside call from Portia Woodman. She did the right thing, just a little bit too late in that piece, but look at the French, They came away with the points when it most needed at this end of the first half,
Caroline Joanne to extend the French lead on half-time. Again, it's brilliantly struck. And France will go to the break with a handy advantage over the Black Ferns. They lead 19-6 in Po. France lead the Black Ferns 19-6 at half-time in test 1 of 2 from the Stade Diamo in Po, New Zealand. Just the 2 penalties to the 3 tries to France, who also had 1 disallowed. Ricky Swanell alongside me, Ruby Tui and Vania Wolfgang. Rubes, what does New Zealand need to improve? Where do they need to improve in the second spell?
Yeah, it's been a huge battle. Lots of variables, lots going on. But I think the line-out will definitely be one they'll want to focus on. And I think it's an easy fix, right? Grace Hopper-Barrett, she's got high standards. We know that she's a great player. She'll want to clean that up. And that'll just give us a whole lot more in terms of territory. Took down some stats. We were talking about it. The France have 69%. We're sitting at 31%. So about 70-30 split in territory. I want to play down the other end. I don't know about you guys, but it's exhausting letting the French run into a half like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't do much when you don't have the ball in hand. But the other thing is the accuracy. So accuracy in the line out. So, I mean, there's 2 there, and we know that Grace will clean that up. But it's also at ruck time and the tackles. Whilst the line speed defensively is really good. We've seen some really good work rate at the tight, massive improvements. It's just the little accuracy that we need to get right.
New Zealand have made some changes at half-time. Kennedy Simon comes on for Dice Faliafunga on the side of the scrum, and Patricia Maliepo into the action, that replacing Kelly Brazier. So that will mean you'd expect Maliepo in at 10, and Demant will switch out to 12 like we saw last week with that injury to
Good. You good?
Grace Brooker. There is Patricia Maliepo. And Shay Robbins-Reti gets this second half underway in tow, and it's gone out on the full, so a mistake straight away from New Zealand will allow a scrum on halfway for France.
Yeah, maybe a bit of commentators. Goose Farns talking about accuracy, and her kicks are phenomenal, but unfortunately doesn't go the way there. And interestingly, taking Brazy off, Maliapuan.
Is this okay? Do you want to
Maliapuan's had a great tour, and her injection off the bench has been pretty incredible, so I'm really interested to see how this goes.
Not bad a substitution, if you ask me. Maliapu was the turning point in that game. She comes with great confidence. She's big, she's strong, knows how to play the game and dictate from the 10 position. I'm really looking forward to seeing Simons, that's the one, Kennedy Simons, jumping on there.
Brazier had an Achilles injury that kept her out, just a little niggle that kept her out of the first 2 tests.
Okay. So hold your body weight.
To the bench at the break. You
Take
see
the
Kennedy
hits.
Simon on there in
Take the
jersey
hits.
20 has made good impact in the 2 matches against England.
It's a pity because we didn't have that much possession, so we didn't get to see the skills and the experience and the leadership that we all know that Kelly Brazier has. But if it means resting and getting her right for the next game, then we'll take that.
Yeah, 100%. Achilles, definitely a loading issue. She said that for a while now. She's got to come up with a new excuse, I think. But I'm excited to see Simon as well. It's pretty hard competition, those back 3 with Faleafanga, you know. Huge players and abilities, so hopefully Simon will get a chance this half as well.
Big scrum from France, and it comes out for Bourdon. Jouan for Philippon, straight through the hands. They're going to go back and play the scrum penalty as France put a massive shove on.
Yeah, that was huge. That's just the way the French want to start. Come out here and just drive that scrum right through. We've seen them do all 2021 against quality sides. And like I've mentioned in that first half, I love Bourdon. She just stares at the ref going, mate, give me this advantage. I need it. And she did the right thing.
Really unlike Philippon. Hey, really out of character for a player like her, and a mistake like that early on in the second half. But here we go. We get another opportunity here for the French to attack, and obviously looking at some really massive pressure again from the Black Ferns.
France have made a change to up front. Coco Lindelof replaced by Clara Joyeux.
Just a numbers issue in the line out there. Amy keeping everybody honest.
So Shark to the back of the line out, and Ume, quick transfer off for Dayai. Oh, good cover defence came across. Big hit put on Dayai, but still danger here. Letienga makes the spot tackle on Jacquet, who is still out there, so presumably Caroline Bouchard did not pass her HIA from earlier in the half. Player down and back play for France is slow to get up as well.
Would have been a great turnover. Knock on in the tackle.
There was a turnover there from New Zealand, but there was a knock on earlier. I think that might be Cyrilia Bonet, who's down.
Okay, we will
And again, her mate over to referee Theron, complaining about some of the work of the New Zealanders. It is Bonet.
Yeah, that's massive.
Injury, or was it just in the tackle?
Barnett going down. That'll be both their wingers if she does. As we have a look here, it is Simon who goes in for the tackle. That awesome spot tackle from Letienga. I think they're just seeing if it is high. I think that's actually spot on.
Isn't much wrong with that.
It's a rib tickler, they call it over here.
And you know, that's the sort of impact that you want from your bench who are going to come on. We know what Kennedy Simons is all about. She's always about the big hits, and I'm glad that we're seeing a few more coming in from the Black Ferns. We just need to continue that for the next half and really bring it.
Good point. It's a good point.
I love that too. Ref saying Lee's out a good point. The captains need to step up here and just make sure they've got everything right. Dot their I's, cross their T's.
No, it was a knock on in the tackle by your winger.
Clarify your points, because these decisions in these huge test matches, we don't get them very often at the moment. So it's very important that we're taking our learnings
Let's go.
and making the right decisions in high pressure moments.
Come on. Switch. Bind.
Boulard, fullbacks come very wide out here on the left for France. Front rows go down.
Close down on my side. Close down. Yeah, that's the first one.
Plenty of banter in that
Elbow up.
scrum.
Sam, elbow up.
As you mentioned, Ricky, Boulard here, bottom of your screen, very, very wide. And the French are just, I reckon they're one of the best in the world for the kick passes in the women's game at the moment. They're never afraid to do it.
Well, they've got big, tall outside backs as well, particularly in comparison to New Zealand's, and they make the most of those, you know, the height and the strength of a like of Banet as well.
Not head to head. Bind.
Well, free kick for France. New Zealand complained about the angle, but they'll play on. Joanne finds some open space behind all the New Zealanders coming across. Robins-Reti does really well, then steps away through one. Needs some support as Philippon tries to get in for France, but Elder it was who got in there and really protected her fullback nicely. So Mikiele Tu'u will rumble out for New Zealand. Again, untidy at the back for Coxedge, and Maliepo got trapped behind the line a little bit, couldn't clear. New Zealand's forwards having to really get in and support here as well. Not making a lot of ground out now. It may be set for Maliepo, who's got a big boot on her and needs to get some clearance away. Scrambles it away into touch. Eventually they get out of it up over the 22. Danger not over.
Jeez, that was huge pressure from the French. They reacted quickly, and it wasn't a kick pass across field. It was right in the back there, just that tiny little pocket of space. Black Ferns very lucky to escape as Maliepo, that her first attempt, wasn't able to get that kick away, but we do know that woman can kick 80-odd metres, so it's really handy to have her there, but only if she can get that kick away. So, wow, huge pressure from the French.
So shut down the back, expertly taken down by Romain Ménager, and they maul it away, just driving, powering forward, still going. New Zealand having to really scramble back. They've made 15, 20 odd metres here. And France, and now Baudin down the short side. Oh, too easy for France. And Emilie Boulard goes in for the first score of the half, but it was well executed. New Zealand open up. Simple stuff from the French.
Oh yeah, Boulard, her debut was this year against Wales before the Six Nations. She's just burst onto the scene. Electric player, but there was so much more to it, wasn't there? The mauls just absolutely causing mayhem for this Black Ferns forward pack. But for me, it was Baudin, the woman who set that up, number 9. Her, the whole time, she was 2 steps ahead of everybody, eyes up, looking around, what's going on. Boulard, there you go, have a meat pie.
You nailed it, Ruby. She was right ahead of the game. You could see where her eyes were. She was looking up. She's been playing and dictating right from the base of the scrum, and you can just see the frustration and the Black Ferns are really under pressure. They're starting to panic. This is the time where our leaders need to step up and really start putting some fear into the eyes of the French, and start. This is what we want them, right? The experience, their leadership is expected in games like this. You can see Patricia Maliepo at the back there, she just really handled that really well. Just a breather, a little bit more patience.
Conversion is good from Joanne. All of a sudden, France out to 20-point advantage early in the second half. There's no stopping that from the French. That's about as downcast as I've ever seen a Stacey Flula face. But New Zealand, they need to front up, need to create something. Banet slips off the tackle of Roos and then gets a ball away for Ime. And again, New Zealand just having to scramble on defence. Baudin for Joanne.
Stop, France!
Plenty of time to get the kick away, down to Robins-Reti, who takes it nicely. Here's Mikiele Tu'u, charges into the French defence. And now they've got a bit of space in numbers. Demant gets the ball away for Woodman. Woodman just couldn't quite get the arms free. The tackle was made on her by Sosha. or just held on McGilly too, and then gets absolutely ridden into the ground by Menashe. Maliepo looking for a bit of territory, just gets underneath us, and Bourdain on under it on her own side of halfway, so more possession here for France. Ball to Varney is no good, but she's got a couple of forwards out here for New Zealand, just slices through. Letty Yinger made the covering tackle, and then Ferrer couldn't hold on. France will give away the penalty, but boy, Varney sized up the option, saw she had a couple of tight forwards for New Zealand.
Be careful, be careful.
Yeah, as a
Please
winger,
on your feet, please.
your eyes light up when you see a tight five trying to defend a couple of
I think
backs.
she thought it was her way. Yeah.
So
It hasn't been a trend in the game, but I've warned her.
just trying to catch up on the banter that's going on the field there. But, wow, I think the Black Ferns were really lucky kicking that ball back to them, and then the French eyes lighting up. If that offload got away a couple of times, we know the French love to offload as well. So I like you mentioned the word patience, Vans. I'm liking how we're just taking our time here. Oh, we've got some more Black Ferns joining us on the field today.
Amy Rule on for her second test, made her debut last week. She'll replace Alicia Pearl-Nelson, another 50 minutes from her, so Amy Rule gets a little bit more of an opportunity this time.
Okay,
Front rower from the deep south.
okay. Time back on.
Papa Barrett down to the back, and it's overthrown, and it was well read by France again. And once more, the option down the back doesn't pay off for New Zealand. Charged by Roos, it lands for Love. Little bit of a heads-up play, maybe a little luck that the Black Ferns needed. Quick ball for Nganwu. And now Flula in a little bit of space, looking for Robbins-Retty. She's got Woodman wide, who had the hand up. Woodman looking for the run. Robbins-Retty has made an angled run that the French crowd didn't like. Play on is the call. New Zealand still pressing here. Flula lays it back.
Agreed tackle was made by the second person.
Demand. Coxedge, Maliepo. Little float ball over the top. Oh, God, almost landed for Banet, who knocked it on. It was risky as the French winger attacked that ball. And just, again, a little bit of panic and rush sets in for New Zealand, the desperation.
Yeah, lucky there again.
Can you get a message to your 15 to not run ahead of the ball?
So just see here, awesome charge down by, of course, Rose. Pip Love reacts, and the French have to clean up. But what I would have loved to see this pocket of space just behind that line, not too deep to the try line, but in between the try line and the 22, there's a tiny little bit of space. If our backs, I know Malepo has that skill to pop that in there, a nice little light one. That'll just have the French second-guessing themselves if we can get that one going.
And it's something different, right? You've got to try something different there. You can see Malepo trying to get the ball out wide. It's not going to happen when you're against a really good side like the French. But, yeah, totally agree with you. Even just a little grubber. Someone running onto that ball.
If our rucks aren't working and if we can't clean up the rucks and get some patient game phase play, then we've got to change it up, try something different, and that is one option.
Oh, France, a shove. Just went on the angle, though. So Coxedge now just trying to turn things around, trying to catch the French offside, and instead is driven back in the tackle, and then they lose it again. And instead of the percentages, penalty.
Offside first. Thanks, Sam.
Against
Number 10,
France.
offside first before the knock.
Gee, who called that? The TMO or the touchy? I feel like when I try and quick tap, I never get that call.
What do you want to do? Are we going to go for one now? Okay, let's go.
Well, New Zealand are going to go for the corner here and try and play France at their own game. They have spent very little time inside the French 22.
Your started in. Yeah.
It's difficult when the French are putting so much pressure on your scrum and your line out.
Yeah.
It's almost like you can't go to a safety of the other. So,
That's it.
yes, offside was called there by Menange, I think it looks like. So the Black Ferns, line out time to step up. They're probably one of the best attacking opportunities they've had this whole game.
The circle at a couple of forwards standing out on the back line. It's Nganwu at the front. And
She's coming from
France
the side.
are able to sack that. They've done it illegally, so though someone's come in from the side, so New Zealand will get a penalty.
Too early. Too early.
And Coxedge wants to tap and go again. Rule carries hard. Good carry from Amy Rule. Just a couple of metres short of the line. New Zealand looking for their first try of the match. Roos driving over the line, but held up. French bodies underneath. So it'll be a goal line dropout for France.
Simon just jumped right on the back of Rose. Unfortunately held up there. But Kendra Coxedge answered us, when you're scrumming your line out, you're not sure, quick tap and go. Put the pressure on.
Look, that was good from Rule and especially and also Maya Kawana-Kaulani Roos, and it hasn't gone out here. Here's another attacking option for the Black Ferns.
Well, Durant, 50 metres from the goal line dropout, and that puts New Zealand under pressure to run it out from halfway or run it back from halfway again and have to restart and do all the hard work. Michele Tu'u gets the offload away for Woodman. Woodman powering forward. Rule, who had a good charge in that previous passage of play. It's just bounced off the foot and falls for the French. So all that good work comes undone.
Not clear for me.
Bourdin will clear for Ferrer.
No, it's not out.
And a penalty as well. So New Zealand now piggyback
It's clearly not out.
France downfield. And that's where, to me, the goal line dropout rule doesn't reward New Zealand from earlier, because held up over the line, and now all of a sudden, from their own mistakes, they're back down here again.
Yeah, it's huge. It's almost like you've got to be 99% sure you're going to score that try when you push over the line. Otherwise, you know, there was a huge drop kick out, as we see the French defence just absolutely giving it to the Black Ferns, forcing a little error there at the ruck. Pip Love frustrated, totally believes that ball was out. I don't have a good view, but she's a good lash, so it must have been half out at least.
So Grace Ho-Papa Barrett goes to the side, and that means a debut in jersey 16 for Georgia Ponsonby, the latest Fielding High School product
Let's go.
to become an international.
Time back on.
What a huge moment for the Fielding High School girl, as of course the French go to a maul once again.
And they've got the penalty as well. New Zealand collapsed it, so more territory, more possession, or stabbing a little kick through Joanne. There's a lot of space. Letty Enger has to get down on this ball. They'll go back to play the penalty anyway for collapsing that ball, but it was dangerous. Little stab kick through from Joanne, who's really orchestrated that French backline nicely.
She must have heard us telling Malepo to do it, because she just almost set up a try doing it herself. But geez, how awesome has the French set piece been?
I don't think I've seen a band at the Black Ferns game here at home. That's wicked.
That's awesome support. That's a party and a half for sure. You see this more here. Girls, Nanwu, maybe Rue's just trying to disrupt it. Unfortunately, ref deeming it illegal.
9 and 8.
More changes coming here for France. It's Pauline Bourdon who goes to the sideline. She'll be replaced by Laure Sansu, and then, well, one of the best players of the last decade and hugely popular as she's roared on to the state into the ground. Safi Ndiaye on in jersey 19. She replaces Emmeline Grote.
Bourdon has had an absolutely amazing game, but this woman on your screen, number 19, Ndiaye, one of my absolute favourites of all times. Oh no.
Referee's got a hand in the pocket here. And it's for Amy Rule.
It's so early, it's so deliberate, it's on the lift and it's dangerous.
More problems for the Black Ferns. Here it is, Amy Rule.
Oh, you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to counter that maul. Just absolutely frustrating stuff, because it was far too early and considered dangerous. But it's hard, isn't it, Vance? Because they're trying to stop it. They're really doing everything they can to stop that maul.
Yeah, look, absolutely, the timing was absolutely off, and it was picked up.
So New Zealand down to 14 for the next 10 minutes, and they've got to try and find a way to stop this rolling maul of France, which has worked expertly. Surchat has got it tucked under the left arm. She's been told to use it. Still going, still going. They were told to use it. They got told a couple of times, and while France is celebrating the try, the forwards are going to get up and find referee Theron is pointing her hand the other way. New Zealand are celebrating it, but they have absolutely got away with one there.
I can understand the frustration of the French. They were going forward.
Sideways for a very long time, so I called use it.
As you can see, the sideways movement, she says once and she screams at her to use it on that, as we saw. Even though the maul had begun to move forward at that point, you must listen to the ref and you must use it. So a bit of a miscom there and frustrating for the French, but whoo, another bullet missed by the Black Ferns.
We need a New Zealand prop.
Look, really interesting what the Black Ferns will do here. They'll need to get another prop on, and then it'll be a decision on who they will actually bring off. And a big scrum is required here. Here she is.
Hey.
Adore Tuna on for New Zealand in 17.
They've taken the captain off, Elder. So Itunu's the enforcer, is here to sort it out. She's had awesome impact off the bench as well.
And lose on the right-hand side there, right? Yeah.
Ruahei Demand is packing down on the side of that scrum.
How good to see.
The jersey 10. But this is big pressure for New Zealand in a cauldron-like atmosphere, and they're going to get a free kick and get away with it. So Coxedge bangs it off down as far as Jacquet, who we've seen the footwork, and there it is again, and back in field as well. Ponsonby just did enough to tip her up. Woodman's come back at her and might have won the ball back for New Zealand. No, not quite. Sansu clears away. Juan, lots of space wide again for France. Vermette Vigneault chops back in field though. New Zealand down to 14. Juan, here's NDI. Big, tall figure in her 85th test. Philippon. Now they just drive their centre forward. Knees are on the ground. Ball laid back. Forlani. Good tackle made on her by Kennedy Simon. Still there though for France. Vinay again, the crossfield kick. She's got Boulard wide. Did well to keep that in. Read it nicely. And had good support from Jacquet. France looking so threatening. Sansu runs into Woodman. And the ball goes to ground. Knocked out. New Zealand survive again, but it is an onslaught.
Yeah, that kick past magic. But Woodman was so good to get in there and cause all sorts of drama. I think she got a bit angry as Jacquet doing this again. Hot stepping around. Just taking care of there.
Don't go early.
But it is an onslaught by the French.
Yeah, she's been phenomenal. And look at this cross kick. They're just ever so patient in the accuracy. But you can see and sense a really massive sigh of relief from the Black Ferns again. You know, just getting let off the hook here. Another big scrum is required, but we got to play at the other part of the field here. Our set pieces are letting us down.
Again, Demantle pack on the side of the scrum while Ruler's in the bin, and Elder has to sit sideways. Front rows go down again.
Another string to the backline's bow is Maliepo being able to play at 10. So Demant can just live her dream out of being a flanker in the black jersey. It's a pretty rare sight, ladies and gentlemen. Take note, seeing a 10 on the side of the scrum like that. But Maliepo holding firm. She's fine and very comfortable in that 10 position.
Stay in it.
Crouch. Bind. 6.
Coxedge wants to get in and out before that way comes on again from France, and it's another penalty. New Zealand's scrum being dismantled.
Jeez, it's hard, but it's actually so impressive, this French full pack. I mean, there's a core 25 group that are fully professional. They train in Paris together every day at the Marseille Institute. I've been there myself. Amazing facility. And you can just tell they are so tight. They actually chose to isolate together for the 6 weeks of the Six Nations. just them isolating in a bubble. And you can see that's what it looks like out on the field. All one pushing in the same direction. Formidable force.
Good timing, New Zealand.
Down to the back they go again, Emma. They'll drive and drive and drive and going forward once more. Here come France again, clattering over. The ball has ended up in the hands of Agathe Sochat, the hooker. And France are taking the Black Ferns apart at the moment.
Geez, I mean, we would have put for all money, they're going to do it more. The Black Ferns are throwing everything they can at it. One player in the sin bin as well. Just executed so well, and they're so happy because they didn't start well. The Black Ferns were right up there at the beginning, but now look at them come through.
Yeah, look, you can see the French, they veered off to the right, and they're just being able to stay as a really tight pack.
Yeah.
The Black Ferns just had nothing to offer.
17 to 13, let's stay
And it is hard too. Got Ndeye, a huge stalwart of this French team, right in front of you. You can't even get near the ball. So well executed.
Juan, who has been really good from the kicking tees, just pushed this one though to the left, but France stretch out 31 points to 6 now, just over 15 minutes to play in Pope.
Excellent throw, well deserving of the try. So shut Black Ferns spinning around, but it's just so tight and so fast when it moves forward. With the 16 minutes left in this game, wouldn't be surprised if we see a few more mauls.
Maliepo drives the restart down as far as Barnet.
Stop.
And Mikiele Tsu'u has to track back with Robbins Reti, and
All in front,
the
always
French
advancing.
chasers, they were told to stop. So this is a bonus for New Zealand. Let's see what they can make of it. Coxedge wants to tap and go, not trusting that set
Yes,
piece
tennis good.
anymore. And Simon runs hard into the line and then drops the ball back unnecessarily. And it allows France to try and turn New Zealand around again, and that is a wonderful raking kick back downfield, back into New Zealand's half.
Wow, great kick. Turning around backwards to see some open space there. You can see frustration just trying to go quick at that penalty.
That's the middle. Yeah, you could be off.
You see, look, Kendra Coxedge really tried to change up the tempo and speed that up. I'm not too sure whether the rest of her team were ready at that point.
Number 2.
And another ball handling error there from Kennedy Simons.
Okay.
New Zealand made a change as well as France do too. So Carla Hohep is on in 23, replacing Aisha Letzieng. And this is Laura Tuyeg coming on to replace Agathe Sochat, hooker for the French. I know New Zealand are chasing the game, but also still down to 14 players as well. As Ponsonby gets her first throw to the line out, it's a good one down the back for Simon. Nicely done, Maliepo. Mikiele Tsu'u, who has really tried and run hard all day. And just again, New Zealand forcing the issue. The cumulative pressure of mistakes, penalties, and it is just allowing France to dictate this game.
I mean, good points. The line out was better. Ponsonby in a huge game. Her debut does well at that line out, but you can see the disappointment.
Left, please. To the left, please. Thank you.
High error rates, it does seem like, for the Black Ferns, but the French as well, they're at least on 8. Black Ferns at least on 6. So quite high error rate in this game.
Been more the coach watching on. It's been a tough tour so far.
That's fine.
New Zealand have only once before lost 3 matches in a row. That was to England in 2012.
Sort it out. Let's scrum. We had to scrum.
And if this stays this way, it'll be 3 in a row to France. France winning in Grenoble in 2018, at the Super Series in San Diego in 2019. Amy Rule in 18 at the bottom of the screen. Les Elder. It's the yellow card looking to come back for New Zealand. It'll be a free kick for France. You just know that they want to get things moving. In fact, no, just about to say, well, the halfback wanted to get things moving, and then it just says, no, we'll just slow it down again.
Let's go.
Halfbacks always do.
Let's go, France.
Always want to keep
Captain,
going.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go. The free kick.
French in complete control. It's one of their front rowers just taking their time.
And LDA has been strong, tight head prop for France.
Sender.
And I think this might be the yellow card coming back. Is it
yellow card's coming back?
New Zealand? Yep. Eventually,
Number 1.
Amy Rule and Les Elder will get back out there. So I presume that'll see Pit Love head to the bench and Eldora Tunu will stay out there. Yeah, that is right. Love heads to the sideline.
7.
And just see at the bottom of the screen in 19, Eloise Blackwell. Perhaps waiting for entry into this game
7.
too. A veteran
7.
lock.
Yeah, there are probably lots going through her mind as well.
Yep.
Bit of a genius of the game. Amy Rule's yellow card, I think, was a good indication of where the Black Ferns are at. They know what they need to do and where they need to grow. It's just the time and the accuracy of that.
Crouch.
Yep.
Bind.
Sansu on
Set.
massive battles for halfback position in the French team.
Again, the French scrum is good. Had to use it. It was just a little untidy for Sansu in the end. Bangs the ball hard to the ground. Flula's gone out to the wing now for New Zealand. And she scrambles it away for Robbins-Lessy, who does well to get it off into touch.
Yeah, I'm not
25
happy with
metres
either
out.
Prop, so we're going to play away from that. I'll sort it out in the next one.
Another change for France too, in jersey 20. Axel Bartomeu is on.
3.
And it might be the end for,
Number 4.
as we said, an LDI who just took that knock to the shoulder. So Ilana Boissou will replace her.
Yeah, no point playing through that. Especially at the moment. Oh, big moment. Nanwu off as well.
And it is Eloise Blackwell in her 45th appearance. Didn't play last week. Going to get 12 minutes or so here. Captain New Zealand in the home matches against the Barbarians last year.
Okay. Hold 10. Hold 10. Time back on.
Just shows how important test matches are and the organisation and the structure of everything to make sure we can link up with these amazing international teams.
Yeah, mate.
More.
Again. It is another good drive, organised maul from France. It's in the back of Touye now. Sansus with a little dart down the blind side. Not a lot of room for Banet, but she doesn't need much. Flirting with the sideline are the French, and it's another penalty. New Zealand tackler couldn't. It's pretty hard to get out of there, to be fair. Hard to roll away for Etunu.
Yeah, she knew as well. Look on her face, absolutely stuck.
Cyril Banet took a big knock earlier. She had a couple of tries in this first half. Looks to be in a bit of discomfort.
Going up.
It's good to see Eloise Blackwell in there, in her element. They're really trying to put their fight in. And when you're talking about test match rugby, Eldora coming in with a big hit. Ruby, you mentioned that before. Johanna Nganwu leaves the field, and she's only played 4 tests, and with Maya Kawana-Kaulani-Roos with her first test, that's 2. You know, they're really inexperienced, but they really did a great job up against some experienced players with the French.
To the middle this time, it is for Ferrer, and once more they will maul again. It's worked to great success now, Sansu, and it just opens up again. Set piece execution, and it allows the halfbacks to control this match. New Zealand have got no answers for the French.
Oh, you could see what the Black Ferns were trying to do. Put the numbers in there to stop the shunt, and momentarily it worked. As we see the Black Ferns trying to push back. Elder's tempted. She knows she's got to mark that blind, but just into the hands of Sansu. How amazing have the halfbacks been for the French team? Absolutely amazing.
They've really, I mean, they've fooled everybody. I didn't see that coming right onto the right-hand side, but the forwards of the Black Ferns just really unaware when the halfback is actually taking it off the back there.
Okay.
Like you said, Ricky, just no answers.
They've had it on a platter. first Bourdon and now Sansu from the work of the French forwards. New Zealand's backs have just had nothing to play with either. And now Juan to extend this margin. Oh, a little nod of the head from the assistant referee. And a perfect kick from Caroline Juan. And France move out to a 38-6 lead.
Yeah, some phenomenal stuff. And you can see the forwards even looking like they're going around to the right. Sansu seeing the Black Ferns getting sucked in, goes back around. But these kick passes, these amazing tries, just like I say, Ricky, all off the back of some sensational forward work from this French team.
So Caroline Juan leads the field, and by my calculations, that means France has just brought on the World Player of the Decade, Jessie Tremouliet. I think she was the last left of the French reserves. And there she is, in fact. Jessie Tremouliet in her 65th test and just hoofs it away downfield again. They might go back though. Yeah.
Always advancing.
Again, they've got the French for advancing.
Yeah, that's a couple in a row. They'll have to watch that one moving forward.
We've had a substitution there, Ricky, and the Black Ferns. Number 21, Ariana Baylor, has come on for Kendra Coxedge. Perfect opportunity here for the Black Ferns in an attacking opportunity. And a great massive hit again from Kennedy Simons.
And she's been good coming on at halftime. Kennedy Simon there is Jessie Tremouliet.
Just kick that ball up,
World
please.
Rugby's 15th player of the decade, voted by a global audience. She had some serious injuries as well. Very good player. New Zealand have just piled everyone into this line out, and they're going to try and rumble as well. There's Baylor at the back for New Zealand, who's had a good impact in a couple of tests, and now New Zealand want to play France at their own game. It's a good rumble forward. Baylor looks to find a runner. It comes in the form of Ponsonby. And again, New Zealand want to keep it in tight. Blackwell crashes over. Looked like she got it down pretty clearly. They're going to check, but New Zealand might finally have their first try of the match.
Ben, I'm coming up to you.
Oh, this will be massive.
Minefield decision is a try. I do want to check if it was held up. I had grounding as I came around.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep, so on position try, but you want to check the ground in, is that correct?
Good call by the ref, just making sure. But of course, it's Eloise Blackwell. Oh, there could be a hand initially, but to me the point goes over onto the grass.
Well, I think might be a hand underneath that.
I think it's a May's hand.
There's not a great angle, not for the Black Ferns anyway, but you see here, it does get held up on a hand here, but I think it's the tip of the ball there that rolls on.
Oh, jeepers.
Well, we will all, me and Vaz will say that that's a try, but geez, the captain for France, Gaëlle Hermé, has done amazing there to get her hand.
Your on-field decision is try, and you've got a ground in. She's never lost control of it at any point, so as long as you've got a ground in at the end, I am happy to stick with your on-field decision.
Yeah, for me it's on the arm, onto the ground, all within quick succession, so it's a try. So
yes.
Try.
So try will be given to Eloise Blackwell for New Zealand, much to the disappointment of the crowd and co. Have been absolutely wonderful, and why not just give it to them as well? Make it entertaining for sure. But Blackwell scores her 11th test try in the first of the match for New Zealand.
Yeah, the French crowd obviously agree with that call there. But that's massively encouraging, and that's super important because that forward pack line out maul area is, elephant in the room where we had to have our focus. So for us to flip it around like that, and Eloise Blackwell to come back onto the field and say, this is how you do it, fam, get behind me, it's pretty awesome.
Patricia Maliepo looking for her first test points. And I think that'll be the first of many. Maliepo converts the try, so New Zealand close the gap, put some respectability into the scoreline, you'd hope, over the next 8 or so minutes. 38-13, reserves and the watching on.
Huge players, you already mentioned, Ricky, to bring on Tremillier. A pretty impressive bench, I must say, for this French team.
Off the knee.
Oh, massive misunderstanding
No, off the knee.
from the kick-off for New Zealand. Communication wasn't there. And that allows Fulani for France. Got some space and numbers wide here. Voulard. Chopped down again by Simon. Tremillier. A good turnover from New Zealand. Now France try and win it back, and there'll be a wrestle for it. And it'll be New Zealand ball. Good work by Mikiele Tu'u.
Yeah, look, great work from Mikiele Tu'u. But also Eldora Itunu coming over top of that to put the pressure on and turn the ball over. This is a good play here from the Black Ferns. We're going to get down to the other side of the field and hopefully be in a better position to attack. Look, we haven't once sent our backline fire. They haven't been able to. Let's hope that we can get the ball out wide.
And it's huge, right, as we just have a replay
This is the middle.
of the miscom for France and the turnover eventuating. But the Black Ferns haven't got their combos yet. This is the first tour they've been on a couple years.
Let's go, Black.
Nobody has cemented their spot in the numbers. And so this is huge that Glenmore gets to see all these different people in these different positions.
Good line-out take from Roos allows Simon to fly her away once again. Mully-Eppel ball was awkward for Hepper, couldn't handle it, and now it's a juggle. It'll be French ball, and Tremillier is going to find open spaces, and Jacquet will chase. New Zealand having to track back, and Baylor's done really well. Good turn of speed from the halfback. Woodman wrapped up, and now pressure. Mully-Eppel puts the ball to ground. It's gone backwards, but it's there for France. NDI or France have just lost it on the ground for New Zealand. There was pressure coming from every angle.
What in the magician did Tremillier just plug down the sideline with that beautiful kick? That is not easy to do, ladies and gentlemen. You've got about 2 metres to work with. Just plotting it down there for a winger and not letting it go out, resulting in a crazy amount of pressure for our back three. You could see them sprinting back. That's a woman. So much experience. People forget how much experience and wisdom the French women's team has in it.
I'm surprised. I mean, obviously we're really surprised that she wasn't starting in this first game, but look at that experience that she's just brought to the game. Now the Black Ferns under immense pressure.
I know it's very loud, but we need to get our timing right, okay? Don't step back, don't move forward.
The referee there just saying how loud it is, which I just think is so awesome for this game. And you can see the countries who are getting behind their women's 15s team, how outstanding are they going on the world stage.
I think that Olympic silver medal too will have been a big fillip for French rugby as well. They've been really well fated. So their 15s game providing a big platform. And then success the other way as well. Penalty for New Zealand.
You must earn the turn, not scrumming straight.
That was very lucky, and I think that actually comes down to the work of Les Elder getting into the refs here and just reminding her of that angle. So pretty good leadership to get out of an extremely sticky situation here.
But also just reading the facial expressions on Les Elder's face, you know, a really massive sigh of relief.
Well, it's going to be a really big week for the leaders of the Black Ferns going into the last game of the tour. They'll play France again next week in Cast to keep the spirits up within the team, to keep working. Nice ball for Simon off the top. It's been really good off the bench, and now a mistake again though. A rare error from Mikiele Tu'u. Tremillier. And now Philippon, she's got Jacquet. Jacquet has Bullard cutting back on the angle, then running into Rule. Good tackle made on her by Rule. She's got off her feet though. Can't get it back for New Zealand. Fulani. France looking for one more perhaps before this match is out. They've scored some really good tries. Ferrier, NDI, Not a lot of room, but they don't need much down that short side, France, as they've shown Sansu, Tremoulier, and Boisou, one of the new young players coming through in just her third test. Sansu chips a little kick ahead, or Flula made the diving catch. It's there for Banet, who couldn't quite keep it in field. Scrambled back well, Stacey Flula, as she made the diving attempt.
The ball went backwards. I thought it went backwards.
Geez, these little box kicks, we saw Bourdon doing them, just causing all sorts of hectic drama for our back three. Flula is an extremely talented player, and even she was caught so off guard. She ended up diving over it.
Let's go.
Just intelligent play. You know, the French just know how to work what's available. They look up, they can read what's in front of them, which is exactly what they're known for.
Bruce brings it down into the final seconds of the match now. New Zealand against their own line. Just try and scramble it away, hustle it out, and they'll get a penalty. A chance to go back downfield.
It wasn't over.
France, this will be their biggest ever win over New Zealand, their third in a row.
Once again, almost luckily for the Black Ferns, the French not sorting out that offside in time. So this will be the final play for the Black Ferns, final line out.
It's a good raking punt downfield from Maliepo, takes New Zealand up over halfway.
The time is right, yes.
Good boot, so time up on the clock here, Major's checking.
Yes. Let's go.
Real joy for these French players. It's thrown over the top again. Maliepo attacks the ball, can't quite handle it. It's gone backwards. So New Zealand will still get it, and they'll get one more chance to play. Let's see what they can produce after the full time. The 80 minutes is up. Itsunu out the back. Fleur Hoheper it is for Woodman. Again, ball just knocked off the legs of Portia Woodman. Haven't gone her way today. Itsunu crashes forward. Better meters from New Zealand. Baylor tries to go for a little snipe and runs headlong into the fence to Mant. Gets the offload away for Robbins-Riti. Itsunu plays half-back, probably for the last time. Hoheper crashes forward, loses the ball in contact, but again it's gone backwards, so Roos will drive forward with support from Blackwell. Baylor clears for Maliepo to the line. She's got Simon, and Flula has with her. Stacey Flula with a little bit of room to move up over the 22. New Zealand looking for a good finish, and then it just comes unstuck at the last moment. And it is a comprehensive win for France in front of a raucous, wonderful home crowd in Po. They have put New Zealand away for the third time in a row, and it is France 38, New Zealand 13. 6 tries they scored to New Zealand's 1, had 1 disallowed to the French in the first half. Ania Wolfgren, it's a tough time for the Black Ferns at the moment. They've got to find a way over the end of this week.
That last passage of play was awesome. It was great to see them throw the ball around. You could see they were getting momentum, but it was just too little too late. And you're right, Ricky, they need to find something, you know, within themselves in this last week of being in France